We're live.
There you go. Thank you, Jen. Okay, the first item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Steve. Do we have a
Second.
question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Figures have it. Next is the approval of the minutes for our May 6th, 2026 work session meeting. Also, our May 27th, 2026 council. We have a motion. Was part of the
Meeting.
It
is, yeah.
I'm just trying to see if everybody's following along.
Yeah.
Good test. Yeah, thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, George. Do we have a second? On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
We have it 7-0. Next agenda is our public comment. Do we have anybody that would like to address?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mara Lance, and I live on Electric Street in Parkside. I'm here tonight to discuss a dangerous hazardous tree that is located on my neighbor's property at 205 Electric Street. I have contacted the borough manager in the past to discuss the danger that the street poses to both my personal safety as well as my property. But unfortunately, all of my attempts have ended with Ms. Valentina explaining that tree disputes are up to the neighbors to resolve amongst each other and that the borough will not have resolved them. I understand that most tree disputes are able to be resolved amongst neighbors and that most people are willing to do the right thing to ensure the safety of their neighborhood. Unfortunately, the situation that I'm in is not a typical one, and I'm here tonight to continue to ask the borough to please help in ordering the removal of this hazardous tree. I brought photos of the tree to help you to better understand the situation. The tree is a very large 55-foot dead ash tree. This tree is large enough to cause severe and extreme damage to my home. It is large enough to cause severe and extreme danger to my life. The owner of the property at 205 Electric Street does not reside in the home. The owner lives in Brooklyn, New York. I've never seen the owner physically at the property, and the home has been mostly abandoned since he purchased the property a few years ago. Anyone that drives by can see he's not have care of maintaining it, with brush and weeds swallowing the structure and overgrown grass up to 2 feet tall in the yard. Caring for the property and following our borough's ordinances are clearly not a priority to him. Caring about his neighbors and their safety is clearly not a priority to him. Caring about our borough is clearly not a priority to him because he does not live in it. I have no way to directly contact the owner to ask that he professionally remove the tree. I have sent a certified letter to him sharing an assessment from an arborist that I hired, along with the dangers of this tree. However, the public address provided for this property is an LLC that's located in Brooklyn, New York, and it doesn't seem to be his personal address. So I have no real way of knowing that he even received my certified letter. 2 separate arborists have been to my property to evaluate the tree's health. They have both indicated that this tree is clearly dead, dangerous, poses an extreme risk to life and property. They both agree that the tree needs to be removed immediately and can collapse at any time. The arborist that just came to assess the tree last Monday stated that the tree is leaning towards my home, and when it cracks and collapses, it will more than likely fall onto my property. It will more than likely fall directly on top of my house. 2 very large branches have fallen onto my property and caused a variety of damage since this past fall. This tree is in an active state of decay. It is not going to get any better. It's clearly only going to further deteriorate, and its danger and damage will only increase. I unfortunately no longer have any more time to wait for the homeowner to act on his own accord and do the right thing by taking down the tree. I have exhausted my options in terms of what I am legally able to do in regards to having the tree removed. I need you to please understand the seriousness of the situation and assist me in having this tree removed before it causes devastating damage to my home or my physical safety. I cannot sit by and wait for this tree to just fall down and simply make a home insurance claim. The damage that this tree can do to my home is devastating, and the thought of just having to wait for it to collapse on my home before anyone is willing to help me is just unacceptable. I'm here to respectfully ask you to please use the authority and power that you hold to personally and directly contact the homeowner and order him to professionally remove the tree. I've looked into how other boroughs and municipalities throughout our state and country handle similar situations as mine. Their solution is to give the homeowner approximately 30 days to take the tree down if it is deemed hazardous and dangerous to property and life. If the homeowner does not take the tree down within 30 days, the borough can then hire their own company to remove the tree and simply bill the homeowner in their following year's taxes. I believe that this is a perfect solution to a problem such as mine. There are some situations that go beyond simple neighborly dispute and require further interventions to prevent disastrous consequences. And this is one of those such cases, and I need you to please help me and intervene. Thank you for your time. I did bring a few documents that you're willing to share and keep. I have a copy of the certified letter that I sent to him last July. I have a copy of, forgive me for placing them in your space, I apologize. I have a copy of the arborist assessment, and then I have several photos of when the tree branches came down. So this was from November, and it includes how large the tree is and how close it is to my property line, and that it can access my home. And then this is the most recent one that just came in May. Sorry, Jen, I'll leave that right there. Feel free to.
And I'll pass this around.
Yeah.
What is your address?
209 Electric Street.
Judy Jones, also neighbor of yours.
She is, yes.
This property is.
It's between our properties, correct, yes. Are you familiar with the property? Have you seen it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So just if you don't mind me asking, like you've seen how large the tree is, like you can see where I'm saying how dangerous it could be if it ever came down on a house.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Just the property itself.
Yes.
We have George Harcum, who is our code enforcement officer. He is probably definitely have been there and
He has the S for the grass, and I believe there was also some kind of construction debris. He was over for that. The issue with the borough is that we do not have an ordinance that we cannot enforce somebody to take a tree down. We cannot enforce that. We don't have an ordinance that reads that way. Nothing that I am aware of. Our quality of life refers to different scenarios, but there's nothing about an actual tree, which is why we would generally tell people it is a neighbor, because there are certain things that happen to residents that the borough cannot solve. Some issues are just from neighbor to neighbor that the borough doesn't get involved in. This was one of those situations. I understand what she's saying. Council can, decide whatever you would like to do, but that's generally how we handle this situation, is because we don't have an ordinance on the books that says if there is a tree that is, if you're having this kind of an issue with a neighbor who has a tree, that we send a letter and we would tell them you have to take this tree down within a certain number of days or else, and then we would have a penalty of some kind. We don't have that on our books.
What about the Shade Tree Commission? Do they have any authority I know they've taken trees down in the past when I was on there.
I'm not aware of anything that ordinance wise that they are able to.
So there is an ordinance as it pertains to the removal of trees. However, it specifically talks about it being a danger to sidewalks, streets, etc. So I can take a look at that ordinance. I know that we have sent letters out to homeowners in the past relative to that. So I can take a look at that ordinance and see, to review the documentation, see what that is, and see if it qualifies under that ordinance. And see if we can go that route.
Thank you.
So if it's, may I ask a question?
Um,
I was just gonna say sidewalks, is that what you said?
yes.
Sidewalks.
I think the tree is big enough that if any direction it goes, it could go out there as well.
Yeah, it would certainly, I could knock the power lines out as they come down. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I completely understand that, you know, I tend to like each tree, you know, if I didn't like the way it was, you know, clean it. This situation is unfortunately not a typical one. I can't imagine I'm the only one in the world that's ever experienced it, but it just seems like it does fall under, you know, an extreme situation in regards to the size, in regards to the location to my property, in regards to the neighbor not physically residing there. It's not like he lives next to me and I can peek over and say, good morning. Can I please have a moment of your time to discuss the tree and how can we work together to resolve this? I don't have a way to contact him. He's not physically there. So I'm just kind of in this waiting game with him. I did begin the process, you know, since we purchased it, you know, I did start it last summer, but now with it coming down, you know, even, it just seems like it's going to only get worse. More is going to come down, more damage to my property, and I'm just trying to prevent a disaster before it comes down, which is why I'm just respectfully begging for help. If someone could use their power and authority to either find his personal contact information, like more direct than what the LLC is, if that makes sense, and just kind of, you know, really explain that it needs to come down. And I don't know if it's possible, if this is appropriate to ask at this time, but if we don't have an ordinance, is there a way that we can adopt some, it doesn't have to be exactly this, if anybody has a better suggestion, but something similar to this, because I do think that this is a great solution that other boroughs and townships and municipalities use, where if the homeowner refuses to take it down, the borough steps in and takes it down, and then just bills the homeowner in their next year's taxes, or however you would want to bill them, if that makes sense.
Right.
You put a lien on their property.
And right, until they pay, exactly, right.
Definitely, you know.
One way or another, we would get our money.
I think, you know, you made the case quite clearly here, and I drive by it almost every day,
Yeah.
this property, so I'll be sure to take a first time look at it. But I think what we ultimately have to have is some advice from our solicitor about how we can proceed, whether that is first amending the ordinance,
Okay,
or if we have the ability to do something under an existing ordinance. Obviously, that order of operations impacts the time frame in which we can do something. But we have to be on solid ground that the action we take is defensible based on the ordinances we have.
And I will look at that ordinance that I cited to relative to the trees along roadways and sidewalks. I'll also look at the, whatever that George Parker has done, if he's been there relative to the maintenance of that property, and the quality of life ordinance, and see if the situation fits with either one of those.
okay,
And what we can do is send the letter and work with the needs that we currently have on the books
okay,
to address this problem in the short term, and then long term will be trying to adopt an ordinance in the future, potentially depending on how council's interested in that. So if this fits into one of those situations, I'll certainly send a letter out. I'll work on doing that as soon as possible.
thank you. May I just ask how would I know, if you don't mind me asking, like if it does fall under the ordinance, or if you would need me to come back and kind of, would I need to do anything in order to initiate a new ordinance being developed, or now that I've shared the information, you kind of have everything you need?
Yeah, I think right now we have everything that we need. We
Okay.
can obviously send the code enforcement officer out there if there's any other questions that I have personally that I need to. But I'll look at the ordinances that we have currently on the books and see if this falls under provisions of that, and then address it with the homeowner as soon as possible.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you.
Because we also have a borough arborist too. He's looked into situations like this for us,
Thank you.
and we definitely, we want to protect.
Time is not on my side, so I don't mean to be pushy, I promise, but I'm here because this is my last resort. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you listening. Thank you.
We-
Thank you.
You're not the first one to ever complain about this resident. That's why it's on the top of our list.
Thank you so much.
Definitely something will be done.
Thank you.
And we can definitely keep in touch with you
I would
to let
appreciate
you
that.
know what progress we are.
Thank you so much. Thank
That
you.
that would be great. And then,
Sure.
I'm Bill Lance, I'm Mark's back. So
Oh, okay.
just, I think Mark did a fantastic job describing the situation and
Yes.
the concerns she has and how dangerous it is. I
Yeah.
mean, two arborists have been there. They both said it's not a matter of if this tree is coming down, it's just when.
They say any.
It's coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and it is if anybody has seen it, it's an extremely large tree. It will destroy the house.
Right.
Now, people can say, well, then you file a claim. Well, that's one
Then
thing.
I'm
you
out of
file a
ideas.
claim. In the
Yeah.
meantime, there's damage, there's certainly other issues going on and potential serious injury, right?
Right.
Appreciate the comments that I've heard with some people with suggestions. I know you mentioned something that was done in the past, and if you're maybe that can or can't be done, well, I know you'll look into that for us. Appreciate that. And then you have to make the comment about short and long-term solution. I mean, there's not a long-term solution here.
No, that's true.
This is going to happen at some point.
He told me any day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every storm in the winter, every time there's high winds, she's frightened
I
that
don't.
this is coming
Yeah.
down and it's going to cause damage and injury.
It already
Yeah.
has.
Well, it's
in
come
the
down twice
process. It's in
already.
the process.
Not the whole tree, large branches. One came down to her house, rip siding on the house. That was last November.
Correct.
And then just last week, a large branch came down and destroyed a section of fence. A picket fence yet.
Yeah,
And I mean,
yeah. in the photo.
this is going to continue. So we really appreciate some prompt action. I mean, it's
Right.
developing an ordinance. If there isn't an ordinance that covers it today, developing some kind of ordinance certainly seems appropriate for situations like that. I mean, when these ordinances were put in place many years ago, there probably wasn't many out-of-state landlords in this area. There are now. This happens to be one of them, and they don't care. You know that. They don't care.
We've been up against
Right?
this.
So-
And the ash trees, I don't know how long, like that's kind of just within the
When I
past
was in
10 years
disease
that
years
they've kind
ago,
of been
that
dying,
ash
right?
tree
Where
disease,
these
right?
large trees are dying, and most people remove them. But I'm in a.
This guy's not gonna do anything. We know that, you know that. He is not gonna do anything. His hand has to be forced somehow, or somebody else takes the action and, makes him, tries to hold him accountable in some way. So we do appreciate anything you can do. Like I said, this is not a short-term thing or a long-term thing. This is a short-term issue that needs to be resolved. So,
Exactly.
we keep hearing, we spoke to people, you speak to, obviously, as our attorney friend we have. You keep hearing what you can, what you can't do. We need to know what we can do, and what can be done in this situation. So, certainly appreciate it if you keep monitoring.
We will definitely do
Communication to us.
I would think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think if you determine that we can do something under the existing ordinance, we may be able to do something very quickly. If not, the earliest that we can do something to rectify the ordinance available to us would be, we're probably going to adjourn rather than recess tonight because we have some other businesses in 3 weeks that we would have to pick up. That would be the next time we can do something toward, giving ourselves an opportunity to address this with a revision to the ordinance, whatever the case may be. So just to prepare you that if we do have steps that we have to take,
Okay.
it takes a little bit of time. We have to draft an ordinance, we have to publish that ordinance, we have to approve that ordinance.
Sure.
It takes a little bit.
Thank
So that's
you.
weeks or months as opposed to
That's
potentially years.
Thank you.
It's likely months if there's a new
Right.
ordinance enacted. However, like I said, I'll work within the confines of what's on the books right now,
Exactly.
to see if there's a way that we can work within that, to address the issue with that property owner and get that treated.
Great. Appreciate your
And
time and help.
we did have a similar one, this several years back, where our arborist determined that the tree had to come down. And the person that was in the rural right of way, but by the same token, the person said that tree was valuable to them and all, and everything. Consequently, we had to come down. So, yeah, so, yeah, it's a danger, you
It's a-
know,
it's a
I think
danger.
that
Serious
Right.
danger.
you may be able to work in that. Definitely get into it, for you. I can guarantee you that.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Would you write your phone number down?
Of course, yeah,
Please.
thank you so much. And Laurel, is that okay? Thank you. I'll put my address.
Do you have anybody else who would like to address?
Madam President, Council, Mayor, everybody, greetings, Mark Cordelli, Lackawanna County. There are some new and some repeat events I'd like to share with everybody. It's going on in Lackawanna County.
Sure.
First, all you dog owners. Reminder. Yes, the dog wars have been canvassing over Pennsylvania. So please don't come prepared. It's time to get your dog licenses. You can go down to a treasurer's office on the second floor at the center. And Angela Richardson asked me to remind everybody this is done on the project. This is run through the state. They are passed through different people. But also, you know, I know I presented that other municipality, and they asked in the past, people used to come to the registrar's office to help sign up people for dog licenses. If that is an option that you would be interested in, let me know, and I'll try to coordinate through our treasurer's office to get somebody up here to make it a little bit easier for your constituents, for your residents.
That would be like something like a Saturday or something. People could just come to the park or a weekday and just get their dogs.
We'll have to see what their schedule is, but yes, some one of those days. Hopefully Saturday.
Yeah, it's a weekday or something.
Yeah, so or their time off it. Combined, if that's something that you want to do, we can definitely look into it. That's something that interesting. I will leave these flyers for everybody if anybody wants to take pictures of them. Next, through our Register of Wills and Marriage License Bureau, for those people who are in need of real ID or new marriage licenses, they are extending their hours on the last Thursday of every month. And it's June 25th, the last Thursday. They're going to extend their hours from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. to give opportunities. Those who work can stop by and get their real ID for driving cars and also traveling throughout the United States and also internationally. Next, you probably saw me on the news. I saw it this morning. NEPA Gives is upon us tomorrow and Friday. It's a charity event, one for charity, because one of the receiving is on the Probably Museum. But there's other great organizations that benefit from this wonderful charity event. Next, also this weekend, starting tomorrow, up on Montage Mountain is Lackawanna County Heritage Fair, June 4th to the 7th. Lots of food, fun activities, the pool, and guides, all kinds of things. Come on out. The weather is sunny and shiny. Enjoy it. As you know, you live in Northeast PA, wait 5 minutes. If you're not happy with the weather, wait 5 minutes, it will change. Next, we partnered with, Lackawanna County has partnered with HRG, organization dealing with broadband strength and abilities and just problem issues. If anybody's having a problem with their home internet or work internet connectivity, please take this survey. It's 5 to 7 minutes. The link is on here if you need. They ask for people to utilize their home computer and or your work computer, not your cell phone. Cell phone hooked to Verizon or AT&T and everything else. We need to find out through any company or those who are providing your internet. This is one of 2 flyers. This is the original. We're just asking people to do this. So this way you can find out the areas that are in need. There is another flyer coming up about this a little bit later. I'm trying to do it by date, so excuse me as I progress right along. Next, we have our Area Agency on Aging. This is a very, very popular event. The Lackawanna County Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program is going to start this month in June. Those who are 60 or older by December 31st, 2026, Lackawanna County residents and meet the income guidelines that are on here, are available for the vouchers for this. The distribution schedule used to be many more, but they said it's been reduced. Not sure, they're gonna have ample, but I'm not sure why they reduced them to this many, but I'll read them out to you here. They're gonna start on Tuesday, June 16th at North Pocono Senior Center. Thursday, June 18th, Hillside, I don't know if anybody knows where, where's Hillside Senior Community Center here in Clark Summit. Wednesday, the 24th at Carbondale Area High School. Thursday, June 25th at the Jewish Center downtown. Again, this will be posted. Those who qualify and meet these needs, it's a wonderful, wonderful program. Back to the broadband. All right, next, in your backyard, ladies and gentlemen, you're invited to a community broadband workshop. It's going to be on Thursday, June 25th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Abington Heights High School. So you can go and talk and find out. Again, if you are at home, and your cell phone or your TV is not working as properly, you're having issues, come to this and help find out. Let us know. So we want to try and make sure everybody's internet is up to literally and figuratively speed. Sorry. Anyways, we move on. The next one is I have our 3-on-3 basketball tournament this summer. June. It's going to be the second last weekend in July, the 24th and 25th. Lots of fun and activity down on Wyoming Avenue, 3-on-3 basketball. They can scan their those who want to participate right there. And lastly, not next week, but a little less than 2 weeks, having a literally a monster event coming into Northeast PA, downtown Scranton. The Big Boy Reunion is coming, 2026. You haven't heard it on the TV or news. Union Pacific, back in the late 1800s, built 8 monster engines. Only one is actually live and active. We here in Scranton, at Steendale National Park, have one of those 8 that they built in the country, or in the world. It's not operable. It is stationary, but they refurbished it. It's beautiful looking. It's monster. It's almost like 50 yards long. It's something else. So the big brother, we have the 4012. The 4014 is coming to town. Union Pacific is coming. So it's going to arrive. The Nicholson Bridge. So pass over the Nicholson Bridge on the 14th. Those trained enthusiasts like taking pictures and being on first bird's eye view of it. It's going to be in Scranton on the 14th, on the 15th and 16th. They're anticipating, guesstimating, over close to 30,000 people a day on Monday and Tuesday. It could get up to, they're saying 75, maybe even more thousand people there. Now, the thing about this is, though, it's America's 50th anniversary, so it's stopping. It's coming all the way across the country, and it's stopping here. They're going to have it here from after the 15th, the 16th. It's going to be here until the July 1st. They're going to clean it. They're going to get it prepped up and ready for the ultimate goal is to take it down to Philadelphia for America's birthday on 50th. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful opportunity if you are a trained enthusiast. If you know somebody who is, oh, did you go online and get a ticket?
No, but I'm going to now that you just brought it up. Yeah.
Please do, please do. They have them online and they are by time. Okay, so please, Monday and Tuesday, so by time, but it will be around, not to be up close and personal on Monday and Tuesday. Because it's going to be getting refurbished. The trip down. That's all I have. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Lori Tiger. I live on Electric Street also, and I just wanted to back up. I just reiterated, but I also wanted to, in general, like there's a couple of properties on Electric Street that have out-of-town landlords that are just let go. And that one being the biggest offender. The snow, they don't remove the snow, they don't cut the grass. There's a property on the other side of Morris House, the apartment house that 11 Electric Street had the junk, it was just junk piled all over the porch. Up until this past week, in the back in the alley, there was just a big pile of junk just laying in the alley. that finally got cleaned up, but it's just, you know, for those of us who take pride in our properties, it's really frustrating to drive past or walk past these properties every day. And I don't know what you can do about helping enforce. You know, I'm sure it's not people to be drunk playing in the alleyways or, you know, just on the property or whatever. But so I ask for your help in that. The other thing is my concern, and it's not really a complaint, but I've noticed since the weather's gotten better, the kids on the e-bikes and the scooters have been flying up and down Electric Street through the stop signs at a high rate of speed, not even stop. Some do slow down and go through, but some of them just fly through. And my concern is Division Electric, and I don't know where else they're going. I live on Electric, so I see that. And I just don't know. So I don't know, you know, if we can monitor that a little. And
Some of them are illegal, some of them are big chart under 170, 750 watts, about 20 a day, and it was legal, and ran around and get to look at it. Been driving by, it's just hard for us to see, but pull them over, actually look at the wattage on the side.
And I'm a cyclist myself, not a motorized cyclist, but I know the stop sign is, you know.
What they need to do is do what they did like in some other states, where they just make it simple. Instead of wattage duration.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not complaining. I know the kids want to have fun and they are having fun. I just don't want somebody to get hurt or hit by a car because the cars don't always stop either. And they, you know, some of these kids are really flying after school and they just go right through. And I'm just afraid somebody's going to get hurt. So that's all I have to say about it.
Especially with the summer coming.
Yeah, well, now that the weather's getting better, you know, it's generally after school, you know, the situation there. So.
As Chief Yarns was saying, that this issue is not only unique to Clark Summit, it's
I'm sure on my street.
to some degree probably nationwide.
And it's a difficult solution. It's a nationwide issue, I think. Boroughs have more problems than the townships. The townships spread out. Long ways of working on the stop sign, red light. It's not that big to the residents. Yeah. But I know Blakely Borough, the city borough. I know Olive is dealing with it. I know they're having the same problem. The city is spreading the problems. But they have more problems with quads.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're riding them. But, you know, we did have a couple. We tried to stop on West Grove Street. We got on a chase with them, and then we don't want to make it hurt. So the officers just made a decision not to pursue it and not, you know, so it doesn't get hurt. I'm trying to find who they were because they don't get charged if they run. Obviously, if they're running stop signs and red lights, regardless of what wattage you like, this is against including bicycle.
Right.
But I'm really upset to a certain degree with parents.
Yes.
Because it starts with parents. I mean, I don't know why you would let your kid out on a bike and ride down Highland Avenue, for example, and then stop and still stops. You can't do that on a bicycle, can't do that. And parents, we're trying to do police officers, but we're park parents too, because we have to, because some parents really are stepping up. And so we're trying to get lunch. A lot of them just say, my parents don't have it, they don't care.
And I'm sure that's.
Yeah, and it's been an educational process. We had an article in the paper last summer, a Sunday paper. We did we sat down with did. I know I spoke to the truth about this. My plans are, we started writing people warnings. There's a large paper on bulletin board down there, and if they get a second warning, they get a second. So those are things. But it's a challenge, and some of them are illegal, so when you stop and they're right along the road and they are behaving, they're not illegal.
Right.
But the ones that, I mean, we're getting green and the manager there. We're trying to address this.
And like, they're not bothering me, they're not making noise, I'm just
Yeah.
afraid,
Well, they're not noisy, that's for sure.
I'm just afraid they're gonna be hurt, that's my concern for bringing it up.
They go fast enough.
The wattage is the important part, because that's what the speed is. That's the whole wattage. That's your. But I really think that they should make compliance with other states, or just make.
It is a problem, so, but, thank you.
We're definitely moving, so there's no doubt about that.
It's been one of the more exhausting challenges that we've had.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
been exhausting. trying to get it flying. I was really hoping parents would help out. Some of them have, but some haven't. We have it on the bulletin board downstairs, and then on the roadway, we put it in flyers in the school bills. I went to many times about it. And the schools talk to at the school level. And we go over that. It's been on long, like I said. Rural areas are seeing that. But
Lately just banned them though, right?
that,
Lately.
they couldn't do that because they banned them from the parks. They have but they can't have a borough property. Right, they couldn't because you're supersede state law. Borough property. Get the property here.
Oh, keep moving forward on that, that's for sure.
Exactly. It's gonna be a long time with this stuff.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think we should get Jen the school to chase them.
That was discussed at the last meeting.
We'll help you.
Well, thank you for your attention to that. I really appreciate that. Do you have someone else who would like to address council? Who's our police report?
And we did do participate as well as a lot of other towns in Operation Nighthawk. Beginning of May, reimbursable by the DA's office, so we need some more bill Monday. So we reimbursed for that. Basically, it was just a saturation of DUI control. Kind of a nationwide thing, or at least a statewide thing. Statewide. Yeah, it was, other counties are doing it. The World Day of Parade. You see what we want. Sure how the traffic stops is. I just traffic tickets really flying with the world.
Yeah.
And then George Harris, retail. If you might have noticed for a while there, the meters were missing in the town. We took them all out. Every 5 years. We have to get them certified, calibrated to make sure they're not feeding anybody out of town. Every 5 years. We completed that. Took us about a week. And they're back to service. So they have revenue. We have to do it for now. We'll stick around the meter to feed in there. Every 5 years. We're good for another 5 years.
Well, actually,
What Harris does, we want to stopwatch that is calibrated by Department of Agriculture. And they put stopwatch times one by one.
plus he shares a lot to get damaged too, so. You guys more than just write tickets.
And he repairs them, we change the batteries, and we change the dome gets foggy on them after a while, and so on, and change that.
Right, yeah.
Relatively cheap for the dome thing. And batteries, usually, and that's it. So that's all there is. I'd like to thank council for, my tenure that was here. I'd like to say that the council members here, especially the current ones, that wasn't passing well. I felt like I got a good conversation with each and every one of you at times when you called me, and I thought everybody here was respectful. And I really, I couldn't work past it, but I ran down the line. Not recently, I had a conversation with Guzzy about some things, and I thought it was a great conversation. And, I think we I did a lot of growing up and learning here. So, I want to thank you for the way you treated the police department, which is great, as well as the police. I would like to have a better speech, but it's kind of a hard day for me because today's the anniversary of my son's passing.
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with that too. So, but anyway, I want to thank everybody for everything here.
Well, and you'll be missed.
We got to be one of those things calling and play off. Not for you guys.
You'll be next. You'll be next.
Police department. So between Park Screen, Park Summit, you guys cover every base and you've done a great job with them. You're all good officers, so.
I like to think we moved forward tremendous since I acquired body cameras and.
Yeah.
It worked. It's funny to watch. I just thought we get better than other departments do the same thing.
Right.
Oh, yeah. No, they didn't. Well, South Avenue just, they got their cameras in service a week ago. Ours were 2022.
Right.
Share with us, bring forward to us. That was very helpful
Yeah.
along the way. So thank you.
Well, you know, I always respected the fact that you guys were like your administrators, elected by people, administrators. That's your job, and my job is to advocate the best I can and answer questions when asked the best I can, honestly. And I think it was, at least in my tenure here, I don't recall anything that was over the top. We had our robust discussions at times. Sure. We've always worked it out.
You work together, you resolve.
Right. Yep. And I'm saying this sincerely, but all council members, right? And Josh, you've been wonderful. Handling things that we use, kind of my go-to guy when it comes to numbers and things like that.
Yeah.
And,
Can I ask you about some numbers? These numbers from May and part-time officers don't look right.
what's that?
I'll give you a hard time, they're actually.
Part-time officers.
Have FTL look at these May numbers.
What's the
Your part-time officers, lots of zeros there, that can't be right.
Oh, but the one officer, believe it or not, that hasn't worked in a while, and I know, Kevin and I were talking about this, was really weird, he worked on Sunday.
So it hasn't worked.
He worked on Sunday.
I think she just did some.
It's in kind of, it's Judas's base, but if we work through. Yeah, that's something, most of, well, some of them, the ones that say zero, like, Schultz, the reason why he's in there because he resigned back in the beginning of the year. But we keep him on there so it tallies the numbers up at the end of the.
But this only shows hours from Officer CNL here. No, everybody else is zero, so that can't be right.
Officer who?
Chianella. I don't know how you say his last name.
Right. Oh, Frank.
Frank. That's the only one with any hours from May. That can't be right, is it?
Sean Brady. Frank worked a lot of hours. Yeah, I apologize.
We can't let you out of here without.
No, that is, you know what?
I'm sure that was just a formula error.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I didn't notice that. My fault. Get that fixed tomorrow. Yeah, that is not accurate. That is not accurate. We'll have it fixed tomorrow. meeting. I apologize.
All good. If that was accurate,
Well, I'm glad you pointed it out.
I'm sure you would have been asking us to hire more part-timers. Full-timers, actually, right?
Yeah, and that, it's not, well, I'll get you to that. I don't know, what happened with that. She doesn't know.
Well, to put you back on track with your speech, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you
Great
for,
service.
yeah, thank you for your friendship and, working with you.
Yeah, we appreciate Chief Grimes and, his leadership with the officers. Totally dedicated to the borough and trying to do a good job.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I want to get that fixed. 'Cause I didn't know.
One last administrative.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. We'll have it fixed and it'll be on the next meeting unless you want.
No, just on the next one. I'm sure it's in line with the usual. I would imagine.
Well, should we let our man go for his last meeting, or any other questions from the public out here? Or from the council?
I'll be here on June 30th.
Yeah, but you.
Break my chops.
Officially your last meeting, oh, really?
Yeah, I did my last meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
you.
Thanks, Chief.
Glad you're ready.
Okay, we don't have any business. Next item is our bureau treasury report.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report. I'll second it.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Favor 770. Right. The vendor payments to be ratified.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Thank you, Steve. Do we have a second
I'll second.
on the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Favor 770. And the road business. Our billion concrete project by CDBG.
Mark was in here, Mark Spatz at the last
Right.
meeting. He was describing both the pavilion project I have before council 2026, resolution 2026-11 to be approved. And then I do have the agreement also here that would need to be signed.
And this is for like the 59,000.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So what he was talking about, what Mark was talking about, is two separate projects?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is correct. Pavilion project was the 59. Yes.
This one, the bids, this is for us just to basically allow the county to continue with the project so that it can be done and the money spent on it. This is a requirement to move forward with contracting.
This is a formality, simply this contract allows us to go forward and proceed as with money that I think it's from
It's 2021.
22, 21.
Yeah.
But this is essentially just a formality.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-11.
I'll second it.
Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Favor 770. Next is, the allocation for $100,000.
So what we've done in the past is we have made motions to allocate dollars towards certain projects. We already did that about a year ago to allocate $150,000 toward the senior center repair project. As just a concise reminder of what Mark presented last time. The scope of work, things keep breaking at the senior center, and the scope of work has expanded. The engineer on this one is Highland Associates. They're the ones that have been making these recommendations. The park is paying for that engineer, Highland Associates, with park dollars. So none of this costs them or anything. This is out to bid right now. These additional $100,000 worth of repairs are in the bid documents as alt ads, which means if we decided not to allocate these funds, the projects that we've already approved could move forward and they would simply decline those alternate additions that have been made. However, we have more than adequate money to support these projects. Makes no impact to the other crosswalk project we've already talked about. There's about $110,000, I think, left over in the end that we would still have available to us for future projects at a later date. So, I would certainly like to see us support this this project and fully fund this work that is very much in need of being done.
Borough has no responsibilities with procurement, or it's going to be the county's going to handle all this?
County handles everything.
This is actually already out to bid. And some of the other details that have been going around, just to try to summarize them. The county actually ended up, the bids were originally due last Thursday, May 28th. The county ended up filing or posting an addendum that extended the bids. I believe now they're due on June 24th or something like that. There was some confusion with some of the stuff Highland has put together. The county is also applying for another extension of these 2021 funds so that they would not expire at the end of October, but instead would expire at the end of February. There is some question about the ability to get this project done and therefore compromise those funds if that deadline remains in October. The county, as of a couple of days ago, was very confident that that extension would be approved, which means everything will stay on track. In all likelihood, we will have a similar agreement to what we just approved for the pavilion in front of us to approve at our July 1st meeting to keep this project on track. That's likely how this will go. So this allocation is sort of just to keep the momentum going toward this project and basically tell the county and the park that, when those bids come back, they can write up this agreement with those projects in it instead of declining those alternates. Does that all sound great with you?
This essentially allows the county the ability to contract and administer this project. They're the ones that are going to be administering the project, if that makes sense. This just allows them to free up those funds and allow them to negotiate and coordinate payment schedules and things like that.
I would make the motion then that we allocate $100,000 on top of what we've already allocated toward this senior center repair project.
Okay, do we need a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kathleen. Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Favor silence. Next says clock tower agreement with Ron. So the update on that one.
I spoke with Mr. Parasol today. He is getting his portion of the clock tower agreement notarized. So I would just ask for a motion from council to allow President Carey to sign on behalf of the council. Such a waiver of liability that we voted on at the in May, and a transfer of ownership of the physical clock tower itself to allow Mr. Parasol to do that work. But the agreement would just be a waiver of liability that Mr. Parasol has okay.
So you reviewed the contract, you're okay with it, and this is just him signing it and getting it notarized.
I drafted the contracts, everything is going forward, protects the liability for any future incidents or happening with that clock tower. Transfers all liability to Mr. Parasol for whichever desires he has for that property.
I make a motion to authorize President Carey to sign the clock tower agreement with Ron Parasol on behalf of Clark Summit Borough.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Gene. Have a question? Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Favor silence. Okay, next is our America 250 Mark Schiffer's cost. This is for our, we dedicated our Liberty Bell and our Veterans Park on Saturday. We had a wonderful turnout of people. We had a tremendous backing from the VFW. The entire project, it was Scott Nichols who made this project. The VFW and the auxiliary donated $4,000 towards it. We had $100,000 grant that we got. That took care of the entire cooperated with them. We got in touch with Chris Cooper at the high school and contracted with Mark Cooper, who teaches the military class. He had his students down. Mark Schiffer was able to get the cement donated. Then he wanted this to be really exceptional. He got $1,700 in stones, which he went, he brought all his own equipment because he does some masonry work himself. He brought his equipment up, he went and picked up the stone. And the student credit for doing this project. So it ended up costing our borough nothing except the expenses that Mark Schiffer had. Basically was for his fuel and some expenses that he had to incur himself financially. So he did get us his bill, and tonight we're going to vote on it, so we can reimburse him for his expense. Not, he put tons of project. We do appreciate it, and the town is accepting it.
Jen, I saw there's 3 invoices, there's 3 receipts here. Are those the only expenses?
Well, that's what he's asking to be reimbursed for. He does have the one receipt from Lowe's that I'm not able to find, so we left that up to council. The total for paperwork is $424.14, and including that, he used on his business debit card with the 163. So council can vote on.
Oh, what's the total amount? He's
$587.71.
What was 800?
No, 587.71.
Okay.
And I think what we've discussed before is given how the clock tower worked out and what $18,000 budget for that, it's gonna cost us in the end if we approve this scope of work, $6,700 to remove it. So we have some extra
There
money
is some wiggle room.
that goes back in our budget that we can be flexible.
And what was the total amount again?
$587.71.
Oh. I know what it is, it's all Goodbye. Yeah, let me shut it off. I'm apologize. No, okay.
I'll make a motion to reimburse Mark Schiffer for the costs in the American 250 Memorial in the amount of $587.70.
Second.
Okay, on the question, all in favor? I'll give him 600. You know, I was thinking, should we just round that off? Yes.
Well,
I would-
I think it's, yeah, I would agree with it. We leave it with what he's itemized here. I think we already approved it, so.
Okay,
All good.
and I'm sure I could not be disappointed. We'll be happy with it. I will let him know that you wanted to hand it off, and thank you. All in favor? All opposed? Papers have it set. And of course, our electrical box for Walsh Electric, we discussed that at our work session last week. So we just need a motion to move forward with that.
Motion to move forward with Walsh Electric.
We thank you, Steve.
I'll second.
Second by Josh. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Next is ORP, SOR MOU.
So, the diocese and LP have signed the memorandum of understanding. They've also returned the proposal, and they have secured funding. So they're looking for the SRO to start August 19th this year. Council approves. If there is a motion, I'll just ask for a motion for the first proposal and second MOU as they're 2 separate documents.
Okay. 2 separate votes then on that, or?
Yes, one would be just for the proposal, which essentially allows, it just confirms in writing the agreement that the chief of the Clarksville Police Department will have the ability to schedule officers, and if we are short-staffed, doesn't hamstring the borough by having a SRO there, and the school diocese is aware of that.
I'll make the motion to propose to the school resource officer for the radio.
Okay, we have a second. I'll second it. We have a question, all in favor? Opposed?
I'll make the motion that we approve the MOU with LLP.
Second.
Okay, and second by Steve. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Papers have it. 7-0. Next is our West Grove Street sidewalk. All right, we did that.
That is still stagnant. We're still reaching out to the districts to try to get one as of last conversation, again, that we're not in agreement with the proposal that we made for both sides. So I was asked to revisit this at some point in the future. Like,
Did they come back and object to the both sides of the bridge?
yes.
I mean, I think we kind of put that in there, that they would approve it, but really, you know, they only ever, as far as I know, they only ever did the south side of the bridge. The north side of the bridge was always covered in snow, and the south side was always clear, where they were doing this.
The objections that I received were both sides of the bridge, as well as some liability issues that they wanted to run past their solicitor. And they said finally, we're not seeing a direct benefit to the district. So we're in talks relative to that.
I think I committed to follow up with Dr. Schaefer, and I neglected to do that. I can do that and press on. Clearly, as a benefit to the district, there are people that walk down that bridge to get to school, even in the winter. However, can you invite them then just to submit back some red lines to you, addressing their liability concerns, limiting it to the south side of the bridge, and in the meantime, I'll follow up with Dr. Schaefer.
I did ask for that. I haven't received that back yet, so I'm still waiting. I followed up with Dr. Schaefer again this week. So I can do Josh, if you don't mind, I'll send it again, and ask the CCU as well.
Copy me when you send an email, and I can kind of nudge separately too. I'm going to make this.
But they're still on board for covering the south side.
They seem to get pushed back to any sort of scope of work on the bridge because they had liability concerns as well as they didn't see any benefits of them. You know, explain the sharing of machinery and different. This is a borough provides. So those are their two major pushbacks. Those two and radio sides.
Yeah.
So hopefully, it's a phone call.
Okay.
And you still have some time on that too.
Hopefully, we don't have any snow for a few months.
Next is our civil service architect.
So we finally, we have the written results in, so we have our list. We have 7 officers to pass the written. I'm in the process now of scheduling the oral exam. From Carbondale, Mechanic Township, and the sheriff that I've been in communication with. So we'll get that set up, and the goal is to try to have it by, I believe it's the 24th, the last Wednesday of the month, the work session. So we'll recess for that, because if we have a chance to vote, then we can do that.
Will that be done here? They'll be able to.
Yes, they'll do the oral interview, and yes, they will.
Okay.
So there'll be a list of the three best candidates for the council.
Yes, once you balance the written in the list. And those civil service guys.
And we've talked about recessing our meeting
Correct.
tonight so that we can reconvene on the 24th of
Right.
June, because there is some state pension money available to us should we hire a new officer by June 30th, which we will need to do to backfill.
We will.
If we're
The hope
going to
is-
retire, we're going to promote Kevin, and that will create a backfill situation.
Correct. The hope is that it's all the testing gets done. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. So hopefully we'll try as far as we can.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Okay, next is our police regionalization.
I did speak to John Hembros yesterday, and he just touched base, and he is still following up to try to get some of the information from the chief Wolf down there to be able to put some costings together. So he was working on that on his end, and we both agreed we probably will be at a point where we can get a meeting together again in the next couple of weeks. I think he's making some progress.
Good direction. The next item on our agenda is Kevin Nikauskis, police chief contract. And we've already gone over the contract with them. Josh and
I think, I'd love to make the motion that we approve this contract to hire Kevin Nikauskis as our new police chief.
I'll second it.
thank you. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it. Kevin is our new chief. That's great. Yes, yeah, he's a great guy. Okay, the next is, section 504. document.
You can just actually ignore that. That's just documents that we'll have in the office if needed.
Okay. The next is the handicap door from our CDBG.
So council would need to sign the agreement for, it's CDBG money, just like the pavilion and the senior center is, the formality, and there would be a $3,000 cost to the borough for the engineering fees, but CDBG money would be able to cover the actual work on the door.
There is a motion to move forward with the handicap door. CDBG.
I'll make a motion to move forward on the door.
Steve, a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kathleen. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Under new business, our civil service.
So I got a call from Jennifer today. We have David Stone, Jane Hallinan, Jerry Seifert are on the board, and then George Yarns is the alternate. Mr. Seifert is not able to continue any longer. So we're okay right now because I did speak with George today. He said he could step in if he needs to, but we would need to find someone else to join the civil service.
Is George interested to take that spot?
I don't believe so.
As long as he's gonna, because we need him in the next 2 weeks.
Yes, he said he could step in now, but he doesn't want to take it on. So we're gonna need to find, I mean, there's really not a lot that goes into it, honestly. It's not a huge commitment, but it's needed.
Yeah.
Very needed, absolutely. So if anybody's interested or knows anybody, they're welcome to call me.
Is there any requirements that they would have to have for this?
I don't know what the requirements are. I'd have to look into it.
Be a resident for, a political party arena. There's several different requirements that need, but such as count.
Sure.
Can't be for a long, essentially.
So I honestly know anybody who,
That narrows it down. Okay. Okay, we'll look into that and see what we. This is our solicitor's report.
Done over everything this month. Nothing else to go on.
Well, we've covered all your bases and we appreciate them.
That's really for me.
And
Recess instead of adjourn.
yes,
Recess is next.
and just, anybody have any comments? to make? I just wanted to thank everybody who did show up for our dedication for our Liberty Bell, and we even had our solicitor and his son there. So it was really a wonderful.
On the up and up.
Yeah, we have Sue Grady, who's our mayor, so it was a wonderful turnout. The town came out and it's something great.
The attendance was well attended.
Very well attended, yes. Great job. Thank you. And so we had no, well, We had a prior,
These dates, we had a prior on the 27th,
okay.
right? Did we also have one on the 6th?
No, there was definitely one,
There was definitely a prior on the
27th.
27th, and there was definitely one during, and there's none. So that should be it.
Okay. I apologize, yeah.
Okay, so there's a motion to recess.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
And Jerry, I have a million things to sign.
One more thing
Yes.
that,
Oh, okay. Oh,